You served in the Trump administration, obviously. I want to play some warnings that we have heard from other former Trump administration officials and Republicans about what they think a second Trump administration might look like.
I think that Donald Trump in a second term would not have guardrails. I think we saw that at the end of the first term with how things played out after he lost the election.
If you imagine the people who are on the absolute fringe, the people who are the least responsible, people who may well be unstable, and you imagine giving them supreme and ultimate power, that's what Donald Trump would do.
So you have been cited as one of the guardrails. You, John Kelly, General Mattis, others who, loyal conservative Republicans who served in the administration and tried to keep the president on the straight and narrow in terms of within the confines of the law. Do you worry about the kind of person that he might bring in were he to win a second term? Because I don't think there are going to be a lot of people like Bill Barr, John Kelly, and General Mattis in that team.
Well, first I want to make clear that I have worries about Biden and what he would do as president.
Well, you have worries about what he's doing right now.
And you know, I think there's serious stakes there. And I've expressed concern about a second Trump term. And I really point to the secret audio tape that came out that had Bannon talking before the election, saying, and he wasn't aware he was being recorded, telling supporters that that Trump was going to stay in office no matter what, and that a second term was going to be off the hook because he never had to go back to the voters again. And I know that in talking, trying to persuade the president to take a particular course, the most important thing to him at that point in the first term was how would it affect him? How would it affect his reelection? And without that factor, then you know, I'm concerned. I have some concerns about you know, the kinds of decisions he would reach. But at the end of the day, you know, I'll have to weigh those risks against the risk. If Biden and Trump are the choices, that would be very sad for the country. But I would have to weigh the risks that I think both pose. And
not a difficult decision if it were Biden against Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, or Chris Christie.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I'm opposed to Trump is precisely because I am a conservative. I believe that any of those three candidates would win a far bigger victory and be able to affirmatively advance a sound conservative agenda for the country.
I want to play this moment from Trump's rally in Iowa last night. He keeps talking about how South American or Latin American, Asian, and African immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country, which is obviously language that evokes uglier times in the history of this world and has concerned a lot of Republicans. Here's what he said last night in Iowa.
It's crazy what's going on. They're ruining our country. And it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country. They don't like it when I said that. And I never read Mein Kampf. They said, oh, Hitler said that in a much different way.
So let me posit that you're a conservative. I'm sure you believe that there need to be stricter controls at the border and tighter immigration measures and on and on. I'm just talking about the language now about poisoning the blood of our country. What your reaction is?
I'm offended by it because it has racist overtones. I actually feel, as you say, we have to control the border, and a lot of people coming across the border from anywhere in the world, we don't know where they're coming from. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that the Hispanic Americans that have come up from South America have made great citizens. You know, they have strong values, they're entrepreneurial. My son-in-law was a Marine combat officer, and he said the best Marines in his unit in Iraq were recent Hispanic immigrants. So I don't like these racist overtones. In the broad sweep of history, the fact that we have a reservoir to our south of these people who come out of the Western tradition, they're religious people, good family people in general, is a boon to the United States. Does that mean they all are like that? No. And does bringing in a lot of people at once from a different country, does that put strains on our system and harm the country to an extent? Yes, it does. But the attacks on the idea that they pollute our blood, I think are foul.
Bill Barr, former Attorney General of the United States, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for your legal analysis of this case. I think we're going to have a lot of legal discussions in 2024, and I hope you come back. Thank you so much.
Thanks.